on children, rave on cats who cry. The cops are gone, it's almost dawn, let's all get in Dixie fried.
I remember when we were in New Orleans that time for Mardi Gras, when he knew all those gangsters and he could get us any table and any club in the quarter, no matter how crowded. Just dropped a few names to the manager, and how back at the streets we'd stop at every single corner and drink Southern Comfort and sing Rave on Children, rave on cats, he cried, it's almost dawn and the cops are gone, let's all get Dixie fried. Later he had me up against the wall in the bathroom of that motel, kept trying to kiss me. I could feel his stomach up against me, swollen and sticking out like a hard little knot, full of whiskey and blood. Jesus.
Rave on children, rave on cats who cry. The cops are gone, it's almost dawn, let's all get in Dixie fried.
That's what always stands out in my mind when I think of him sexually. He was surrounded inside by his own swirling blood, terrible blood, thin as the wind. He had a gun in his suitcase too. I kept thinking he'd drop it or something and it'd go off and kill somebody in the airport. He was on his deathbed over 30 times just that third grade year. He got his mother to call his friends to come visit him in intensive care, and he'd read us all these wills he made out, leaving us all this stuff, his toys and clothes and his drawings. He did some beautiful drawings back then. He could have gone into art. I still have one he did of a dog, kind of a wolf with a quarter moon hanging off its lip, howling, and scrawled across the top it said, "Spotty Barks." Years later I showed it to him and he laughed. Then when I left the room for just a minute, right under Spotty Barks, he wrote, "Fuck Spotty." He never liked pets. The next summer his family moved to New Mexico and I didn't see him again for 9 years. Not until he moved back to Texas to finish his senior year, and by then he was already gambling with the big boys from Dallas, LA, and Houston, and carried a gun. Later he was a politician and the same age as Jesus. The headline said, "Political Strategist Dies at 33. He had something to do with Bobby Kennedy's campaign, but nobody knew just what. His mother said he was too young to die, but that he'd always stayed up late. That meant something. She was tricked and rattled. Fire slipped through her dreams. She demanded cremation and took fingers with her ex-husband for the 5th time in 9 years. Their circle had no circumference. At the funeral, she read a poem he'd written on the back of a pamphlet from the Democratic Convention in 1968. I want a new tattoo, a snake, a mouth, a scarification moon, a total melody. I want a mark that just begins with the flesh, one that roars forever in blood crust, a heart with mama in it, her bottles and skulls, the lover's question mark and panthers, and I want it done with sticks and knives and New Guinea and San Diego, a bluebird, redbird, greenbird, and anchors and daggers and Jesus, winking black crows off the cross, and nails and secrets and razors and perfect dots, the red devil boy and eagles and a whole new set of eyes. I want love illustrated in mean black little waves, hauling road angels and comets and rats chewing money, buildings better explode, and guns and initials of everyone who ever died I loved. Atomic bombs, Old Gloria, fly screaming, and some messages in general. And I want it now, with hula girls and swastikas and aces and diamonds and spades and clubs and a 4 in a mirror. I want a poison frog, rabid dog, bats, and a guitar and stars and bars and all the self-assurances that my decisions are true. I want subtones. I want my body to deliver the perfect burden to the ash, a blood scrawl at the wind. She said it sounded just like him, but we figured he stole it from one of his biker friends because not a soul understood the vernacular. The poem wasn't appropriate, but no less so than anything else in his life. I remember once he was reading this big book on the life of John F. Kennedy, and he was furious. He told me he thought the whole idea of biography was pure bullshit, some powdered up, sick, perverted form of necrophilia. Look, he said, I met Jack Kennedy once, and he was an asshole. The guy couldn't keep a normal appointment if it killed him. The first year he is married to his first wife, he had all the vending machines, cigarette and rubber machines, all the condoms in town. And they used to invite us over for breakfast on Sundays, and we'd help them count the money. I never saw so many quarters in my life, millions of them. There wasn't a flat surface in the whole apartment that wasn't covered with stacks of quarters. Later, the Dixie Mafia got mad because he wouldn't give them a percentage, and they tore out all of his machines, but by then he's already in the dog business. He'd get these dogs out of the pound and advertise them in the paper as being trained CNI dogs, pedigreed. Just these stupid, ugly mutts, but he sold them like hotcakes. And it was around that time that he joined the Young Republicans, but then he got in some kind of trouble over there, and then he had to join the Young Democrats. I think he's the only person that I ever knew who had absolutely no conscience. It must have been pathological or psychological or something, because literally, he didn't have a conscience. It just wasn't there. Gone. Did not exist. I asked him once in all seriousness if he'd ever really felt guilt, real guilt about anything in his whole life. And he looked at me real funny for a second, like I was from Mars or something. And he said, "No, why should I? I haven't done anything."